The institution of slavery is not inherently evil.
And that brings us to part 4 of my Bible Tab Guide, where we are tabbing the Bible Illustrated especially for children of color. The subject of the day is slavery. I'm not sure how loving your neighbor as yourself equates to being able to own them as property, but let's dive into the Bible and find out, because certainly not every Christian is supposed to affirm or defend slavery, right?
It is very important that every Christian affirm what I just said. And not only should they affirm it, every Christian in today's society should be able to defend what I just said.
Right on, my brother in Christ. Our first slavery verse takes us to Deuteronomy 20, verses 10 through 14, where God prescribes his nighttime rules of engagement, which allows the enslavement of men, women, and especially those little virgin girls.
I know. Some of you guys are upset by that.
What if you wanted to take slaves, but you weren't in wartime? Good news. Leviticus 25, verses 44 through 46, tell you that you can take slaves just from people wandering through your land. You don't have to be at war with them. Sure, the Old Testament endorses slavery, but Jesus came to set the record straight. He built the correct church of God on this earth upon the rock of Peter. And if we go to 1 Peter verses 18 and 19, he tells slaves to obey their masters with all fear, not just the good masters either. They should faithfully serve the violent masters too. Our next slavery verse takes us to Judges 21, verses 11 through 14, where God instructs the Israelites under Joshua to capture 400 young virgin girls as slaves. I wonder what they were being saved for. The 400 little girls taken as slaves in Judges is nothing compared to the number of little girl slaves taken from Numbers 31:31, where Moses and Eleazar the high priest are commanded directly by God to steal 42,000 little girls as slaves. So God banned shellfish before he banned slavery. At least by the end of the Bible he can make up for it and tell us what he really wants. So let's go to the Epistle of Titus, where it says that slaves should be obedient to their masters in all things. The Bible apparently supports slavery from beginning to end, but this book is full of rules, so I'm sure it has regulations regarding how a slave owner can treat their slaves. And for that, we go to Exodus 21, where it says a slave owner can beat their slave with a rod so long as the slave doesn't die. The slave owner hasn't committed any crime. If God wanted to, he could have instructed the Apostle Paul to ban slavery, but instead, in Ephesians, he says that slaves should be obedient to their masters. And in case there was any confusion, he repeats it in Colossians. How could a God of love also condone the institution of slavery? Well, if we go to Genesis 24, we can see what the blessing of this God looks like. We know Abraham is blessed by God because he has slaves. This doesn't sound like the God of love at all. This actually sounds like the God of slavery.
Christians in America have been led astray on this topic. They've been led to believe things that the Bible doesn't teach. And when we go beyond the Bible,
you lose your justifications for slavery. Join me for part 5.